This is the VTOMAN Jump 1500X. It kept my fridge, my laptop, and my lights running through a 6-hour outage without drama. And that peace of mind is the reason I keep it charged and ready. I think of this as a serious portable power station for people who want real backup and not just a big phone bank. It fits campers who drive to their site, families who want a safety net during storms, and anyone who needs dependable off-grid power for tools or a small home office. If I were backpacking, I would pick something smaller. For car camping and home readiness, this is the kind of unit that actually changes what I feel confident doing away from a wall outlet. The design is blunt and purposeful. It is a sturdy black box with a smooth, molded shell and a big built-in handle that spans the top. I will not pretend it is feather light. It is a little over 30 pounds, and I feel that when I lift it. The handle helps the weight sit close to my body, so carrying it from the trunk to a campsite table is fine, but I would not hike with it. The rubber feet stop it from sliding on the floor of my car and on a plastic table. The buttons have a reassuring click. The port covers feel tight without being annoying, and the back has a light bar that I thought was gimmicky until a late-night fuse blew, and I used it as a room light to see what I was doing. Little things like that make a difference when I am in the dark and tired. Setup took me almost no thought. I plugged it into the wall to top it up, and the liquid crystal display lit up with big, clear numbers. I like that I can glance at it and see how much battery is left, how many watts I am pulling, and an estimate of time to empty or time to full. There are no nested menus to poke through. I press the alternating current button to wake the 3 wall-style outlets. I press the direct current button when I want the 12-volt car-style port and the barrel ports. Everything is labeled plainly. When I hand it to a friend, they figure it out without me explaining. That is exactly what I want in a power station that might come out during a stressful moment. Power delivery feels confident. The alternating current is pure sine wave, which matters for sensitive electronics. The continuous output is 1,500 watts with headroom for short bursts up to 3,000 watts. That peak matters when a device like a small heater or a blender asks for a quick surge. What impressed me most is how it behaves at the edge. Instead of shutting down when a load tries to pull too much, it limits the draw gracefully. I saw that kick in when I pushed my luck with a space heater and an air fryer at the same time. The heater settled to a lower setting and kept running. No panic, no sudden blackout, just controlled power. That behavior has saved me a reset more than once. My first real test was a weekend car camping trip. I ran a portable fridge on the 12-volt regulated carport, charged 2 phones and a tablet, and topped up a camera battery through a universal serial bus Type-C port. Overnight, I used a small fan and the light bar. In the morning, I plugged in an electric kettle. The draw spiked briefly and then settled, and I still had plenty of battery for the drive home. The estimate on the screen matched the real-life experience closely enough that I trusted it by the second day. Back at home, I plugged in my work setup during a planned maintenance outage. That meant my laptop on the 100-watt universal serial bus Type-C port, an external monitor through an alternating current outlet, my router, and a small desk lamp. The total draw hovered around 150 to 200 watts. The unit was almost silent until I added a second monitor, and then the fan came on with a soft whoosh that faded into the background. It is not silent under load, especially with hungrier appliances, but it is steady and not harsh. I also tried a small portable heater on a chilly morning, plus a light and my laptop charging. The heater ramped up, the draw climbed, and I saw the limiting behavior keep everything going without tripping off. My air fryer test was similar. I heated a batch of fries outside on the patio to keep the kitchen cool. The unit handled the startup surge, and I watched the time to empty drop quickly, which is expected with a high draw appliance. The point is, it did not blink, and I did not have to think. For a more delicate scenario, I set up a sleep test with a continuous positive airway pressure machine. That is one place where steady power matters. I used the regulated 12-volt output so that the voltage did not sag through the night. It ran all night with margin to spare, and honestly, that alone could make this a must-have for some people. Port selection is generous in a way that actually matters. I count 3 pure sine wave alternating current outlets. There are 2 100-watt universal serial bus Type-C ports that are strong enough to charge a modern laptop at full speed, plus a couple of universal serial bus Type-A ports for my phone and a drone controller. The 12-volt direct current options cover my car fridge and that continuous positive airway pressure machine. I have had more than 10 things plugged in across the mix without any weird behavior. It is not about bragging rights. It is about not having to decide which device gets to charge first when I come back to camp after a day out. Battery chemistry matters for long-term ownership. This uses lithium iron phosphate cells. I went down that rabbit hole because I wanted to know how it would age. Lithium iron phosphate chemistry is more stable thermally and can be charged and discharged many more times than the older chemistries most of us know. The claim is thousands of cycles before it drops to around 80% of the original capacity. I obviously have not run thousands of cycles yet, but I care because I do not want a power station that feels tired after a year. The confidence to store it in a trunk in the summer or by the door in winter without worry is real value to me. Charging is simple. From the wall it spins up, the fan comes on briefly, and the liquid crystal display gives a time to full that has been accurate in my experience. I like that I do not need a brick the size of a shoe to charge it. I will leave it at that because charging speeds can vary based on the outlet and the state of charge, but I never felt like it was dragging. There are a few thoughtful touches that make life easier. The light bar on the back has normal light, a bright light, and an emergency blink pattern. I used it during a storm to light a hallway and to look for a fuse in a dark garage. The VTOMAN technology, which is the company's way of describing how it handles short spikes in demand, really does keep power flowing to appliances that need a kick to get going. The expansion port lets me connect an optional extra battery if I ever need a lot more runtime. I have not bought the expansion battery yet, but knowing I can add it instead of replacing the whole unit is a real advantage for longer trips or an extended outage. There is also a jump start function for a car, but it needs a special cable. I did not test that because the cable does not come in the box, and I wish it did. That would make the emergency story even stronger for road trips. It is not perfect. The weight is the trade-off for real capacity and safer chemistry. I can deal with it because I am moving it from car to tent or from shelf to floor. If I were carrying it far, I would choose differently. The fan is audible under heavy load. It is not an annoying whine, but if I am trying to sleep next to it while running a heater or an air fryer, I notice it. The power limiting is clever and I prefer it to a hard shutdown, but for very sensitive high-draw equipment that expects a perfectly steady high wattage at all times, I would check the requirements carefully. For everyday things like laptops, televisions, fridges, fans, lights, or cooking gadgets, it has been solid. One specific use case that has stuck with me is my backyard movie night. I set it on the patio, plugged in a short-throw projector, a small powered speaker, and a string of warm white lights. The draw stayed modest, the fan barely came on, and the liquid crystal display told me I had hours left. When the credits rolled, I still had enough battery to run the portable fridge for leftovers and charge 2 phones before bed. That is the kind of quiet convenience that makes me reach for it again and again. So who should consider this? I would say anyone who wants reliable, straightforward power for car camping, van trips, or home backup during storms. If I value safety, longevity, and clean power, the lithium iron phosphate battery and the pure sine wave alternating current make sense. If I need to run a bunch of things at once without babysitting cables, the mix of ports and the 2 strong universal serial bus Type-C outputs help me stay organized. If absolute lightweight is the priority, this is not it. If capability, versatility, and a user-friendly design are the priority, this checks the boxes. That is my experience with the VTOMAN Jump 1500X. It has earned a spot by my front door because it starts every time. It tells me exactly what is happening, and it behaves well under pressure. If you want more hands-on tests with specific appliances, tell me what you want to see in a comment. If this video helped, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. Thank you for watching.